Well, chicks are making their way into farm stores across the state. And so today I thought we'd take a little bit of time to learn about those chicks and starting a backyard flock. So we're joined today by Nebraska Poultry Extension Specialist, Dr. Sheila Purdum. Tell us a little bit about, first of all, some of the things to consider when making the choice to start a backyard flock.
Okay. All right. So when you're going through Tractor Supply or Orscheln's or any farm store that has chicks, they all look really cute when they're small. All right. But you need to define your objective, whether it's to have fresh eggs or to have some meat on your table with broilers later on, because those are two very different choices. Meat birds don't necessarily produce eggs well, and egg birds don't produce meat well. So you do have to make a choice.
So on top of that, I think a lot of people maybe overlook the equipment or the facilities that are needed to A, start the flock, and then B, to continue growing that flock. Tell us about some of the things that people will need when they start.
Okay. All right. The first phase is brooding, and brooding can be done in something as simple as a livestock water tank. You just have to have a confined space that you can supplement with heat, for example, with the heat lamp, and keep the birds toasty, like at around 90 degrees, dropping down to 85, 80 each week subsequently after that first week. They need bedding, which is typically wood shavings, and they need water and feed provided to them. Once they grow up to be about 5 weeks old, you can remove them from that confined space then into a larger space. And I often recommend for people just something as simple as a dog kennel. Is a very nice larger space for birds with protection from the wind and cold. That next step is very important, though. If you plan to just have free-range birds all the time, you're going to have troubles with predators. So you do have to have a confined space to keep those birds safe from predators later on in their life.
Dr. Purdum, when you're out talking with people across the state with your role in extension, tell me about some of the misconceptions or questions you get about starting flocks.
Okay, so a lot of people think that they have to heat them really high temperatures, and that can happen and actually cause a little heat stress in the chicks if you heat too much. And this is going to sound rather crude, but you get something called pasty butts, all right? In that they actually can't excrete their manure very easily, and it'll actually get pasty around the vent area. So that means you're overheating, all right? The other misconception is I can just free range my birds all the time. You want to have the birds come home at night, because at night is when predators become a problem. Possums, skunks, raccoons, fox, coyotes, they all love poultry, hawks even. So you're going to have to evaluate your situation and decide how you're going to train your birds to come back home at night into their enclosures so that they can avoid that predator attack.
Dr. Purdum, tell us about the timeline for both layers and broilers of how long it will take for them to be able to lay an egg or be old enough to harvest.
Okay, all right. So the quick project is broilers. The Cornish rock crosses are ready to go to the table, be processed in just 2 months. All right, so that's the quick project. The project getting a Rhode Island Red or beautiful Buff Orpington to egg production, that's a 4-month process, maybe even 5. So you have to be very patient. Obviously, only the hens are going to come into egg production. So if you're getting chicks in April, you probably won't see eggs until the fall. And then you're going to battle the winter season challenges, which we'll talk about a little bit too.
Absolutely. And we can dive right into those now, because once that process starts, nutrition and housing, those are all important things. But coming into the winter months can certainly cause some problems. Tell us more.
Okay, so your chicken is coming into egg production in the fall, which is wonderful, but you have a decreasing period of sunlight in the fall. And the birds need about 16 hours of day length, whether it's sunlight plus artificial light or artificial light alone, to produce eggs well. So you are going to have to provide an enclosure which can keep that lights on to provide 16 hours of day length. if you want optimum egg production through the fall and into the winter.
So one of the things that's really important is nutrition in all livestock, no matter
Mhm.
what you're raising. But
Yeah.
one thing that's really interesting about chickens is they can eat a lot of vegetables and fruits that we eat. Tell us about some of the things that they can and can't eat that maybe us humans have access to
Okay.
and might be able to give to them.
All right. So chickens, poultry, especially geese and waterfowl, are excellent foragers. I have a little backyard flock at our place, and they love to eat grasshoppers. They help control actually a lot of the pests. They grub around and do all of that. What I wouldn't advise doing is feeding them old, mildewed table scraps. Anytime table scraps get mildew or mold, that's not good for chickens. So try to avoid storing your table scraps for a week and then feeding it out to the chickens. They're not going to like it, and it could provide some mold and mildew to them.
Yeah, great tip. Well, Dr. Purdum, for finding some more information on poultry management, is there a place that people should go to get that?
Yes, we have a Facebook page, UNL Poultry, and you can check us out, ask questions on the Facebook page, or you can always rely on an email as well. And just go to UNL Animal Science and you'll find me.
All right. Thanks so much for that information. Again, we've been visiting with
Yes.
Dr. Sheila Purdum. She is a poultry extension specialist. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. Good luck, everyone.